DCeased, Dead Planet, issue 6. Tom Taylor writing with Trevor Hairsine on the art, as all the issues have been. Nice and consistent there on that front. This issue has them finally kind of have a cure. They've
unlocked it.
Yeah, the greatest minds. We have Fate and Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy. And it sort of lists why they're all eligible for this. And although I have to ask, were you upset at the end of this page when, because it explains, okay, Dr. Fate, Ivy because she was a botanist and whatnot, Harley because she's a psychiatrist, right. Chimp because he's a greatest problem solver, and then it gets to the bottom, it says, and Batman because he's Batman.
Yeah, I don't like that, and I feel
loved it.
but I feel like with Taylor, that's very tongue in cheek.
Sure.
It was like Damien because he wouldn't let himself not be there. That's how I read it. But I did like seeing Wallace there, like him being there as the Flash representative is really, really cool. And I do like that the story has gone from a straight up zombie book, right, where they have to leave Earth and go settle a new thing, to then we had Unkillables, which was a zombie movie. They have to survive.
Loved Unkillables. Loved it.
And now this has become a almost dystopian future where it's like, hey, we have a cure, but now we have to deal with, what does society become?
I kind of love the concept of this, where I can't think of any other story that's been zombie-like or zombie-esque where just as the heroes find a cure and can bring everyone back, there's a group of villains who are about to wipe out everyone on the face of the earth to save themselves, which up until a certain point would have been the right thing to do, and we would have been like, yeah, sure, yeah, good idea, make an army of Amazo robots and kill everything. But now it's like, no, this is actually like them destroying people who could be brought back to life, and our team of heroes has to sort of race against the clock to do it. So it's this, they've taken the cure part of this, which usually is like almost like the unthinkable like good thing that never happens in a zombie movie. They never get that happy moment.
No. I mean, and when you do, it's an I am legend, and there has to be a sacrifice, and so.
But here, Taylor's found a way to like give us that, but give us this threat to it, which in the form of something else.
Well, and on top of that, we get Taylor with the Barda and Mr. Miracle relationship that was so well developed in King and Garrett's Mr. Miracle.
Which again, this is clearly referencing. This is clearly taking that as part of its history. Yeah.
Them and them bringing up Jacob, their son, and you're just like, oh man, like that's super cool. And just that whole scene where they say that they have to test the cure on somebody, and Dinah wants it to be Ollie, and they're like, well, no, because we have to give it to somebody that we know it's going to work on. His body might not be able.
Yeah, the idea being that Ollie just being human is that if there's something goes wrong, his body may just not take it at all. Whereas Barda, because she's like superhuman, and
a new god, right? And so I really like that. So again, it shows that Taylor thinks these things out, right? He's not just, because that's what I'd always thought with Ollie was like, oh, okay, he's going to be the one that we have to keep alive because there's a cure, and we're going to have to turn him back. But just that little wrinkle I liked. The scene where they go to find Barda, and she's been chained to this planet, and she's out roaming around, and it's terrifying. It's up there with the Wonder Woman stuff from Unkillables.
Yeah, and when she does sort of realize who she is, and she kisses Mr. Miracle, and it's this sweet moment. They talk about in the next few pages about how like the body clocks of everyone who turned has just kind of paused whilst they've been, and it made me actually think bizarrely of Infinity War and Endgame. It's almost as if instead of just not existing for 5 years, they were zombies for 5 years instead.
Yeah, they were paused because it is an anti-life, so they're not living, they're not dead. They are in a stasis, like a purgatory.
Yeah, and then the other chunk of the book is very much devoted to whatever wild plan Constantine's got, and he's not telling Zatanna. Phantom Stranger's there, Swamp Thing, Etrigan.
This has been the book of Tom Taylor going, who can I have Constantine stab next? And I love it. Like, and then him telling the Phantom Stranger, hey, maybe did one time drunkenly, and Phantom Stranger's like, absolutely not, never with you. All right, just just him prodding at him, I thought was really great.
Yeah, I mean, I like the moment where, because he wants Fate's helmet, and Fate's saying, "Yeah, you can never be removed with your magic, Constantine." Right. He's like, "Oh, I know," and then he like holds up the wizard's staff, and he's like, "Shazam!" and that's how he takes it. I like that moment, and you know, he's got the helmet, he's got the Ragman cloak, he's got the wizard's staff, he's got all of these magical artifacts,
and he's got Boston Brand, right? Yes. Boston Brand's in that cloak, which I'm sure will come back. Because they mentioned Boston, him imprisoning Boston in there. And on top of it, too, not only do we have the dead overrunning the Earth, we have the Amazo army wiping out the zombies. We have Trigon cleansing the Earth.
Yeah, Trigon. Yeah, that was teased a couple issues ago. He is now in Paris, and he's already wiped out all of Paris.
Which I thought was a fun thing that he came up through the crypts in Paris. I thought that was real cool. And that... he's cleansing it like by fire. And I still love, that was one of the other wrinkles that I love, the fact that Trigon's upset that there's no souls coming to hell because of the anti-life, so he's going to come and fix that. I love that. And so in my head, we're going to get a Constantine versus Trigon, King Kong Godzilla. Yeah,
that was one of the things I was thinking. It seems most likely that that's specifically what Constantine's going to solve, and that the rest of the Justice League will be dealing with the Amazo robots. Yeah. And Constantine's doing everything he's doing to take on Trigon, because
just keep him at bay. Yeah. While they can focus on that. Yeah.
Because now we have like all these problems going on at the same time, and I think I'm enjoying this sequel a lot. It's not as good as Unkillables is like.
No.
I loved Unkillables so much, but I am so consistently impressed with how Taylor finds new avenues and new little corners of the DC universe to explore and use in ways that seem inventive and apply to what's going on.
Yeah, no, definitely. If I was getting into comics now, he would be my Jeff Johns, because I feel like there's a lot of similarities with how they find these little niches, and then I don't want to say milk it, because milk it seems like he's doing it, but like he gets it for everything it's worth. I mean, just the idea of Trigon coming up because of the anti-life equation. Like, that's never been a thing in zombie movies, right? You never get that supernatural aspect of it. So I think that was really cool. And just, even the compassion of the heroes here, them not wanting to kill people, because there might be a cure. And it turns out they were right. Like, that's another wrinkle that I think is really good. But Tom Taylor's just nailing it.
Yeah, which just makes them guilty about everyone they killed. Like, because when they thought there was no hope, but earlier on, back in the first book, back in Unkillables, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, we could have brought all of them back.
Flash, Superman, Batman, like all of the greatest heroes, have succumbed to this thing, and you can't take that back now. So, although Superman's in the sun, so
true.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah, maybe they'll find a way to somehow bring him back.
So, but yeah, no, it's really good. This book, I mean, it's doing all the stuff that I love too, playing with all of these. It's got the legacy characters in there. It's got the old school magic users in there. There is a sense of continuity, and it's not mainstream DC continuity, but it's DC continuity nonetheless. I mean, it's just the whole idea of him going to Rama Tut in Nanda Parbat in was that 2 issues ago?
It was last issue.
That was the last issue?
Yeah.
And just Constantine knowing that he can't go in there, or Constantine having a hidden room in the Tower of Fate. Like just all that type of stuff. I love that he's playing with that.
Yep. It's doing wonderful things, and I'm consistently impressed. If anything, it says a lot that I'm not praising it even more than I am. And I don't know if that's just because he's already set the bar so unbelievably high, or whatever, but it's really good stuff. What are you giving this issue, Matt?
I'm giving this a 9.5. And the only reason, not only because the art, I'm still not 100% sold on Trevor Hairsine's art, but it fits the tone of the book enough that it's not so bothersome. And you get that great circular image of all the heroes with their heads, like you were talking about, and it ends with Damien. No matter which way you read that one, it works. So it's not one of those ones where it gets lost in things, but yeah, 9.5.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to go with a straight 8 on this, and I think it's just because I kind of agree. I'm not a big Hairsing art guy. It's not the worst, but I'm not in love with it. And I'm not as into the magic side of DC, even though I do like both this and the last issue had a really cool moment where I loved how they used it in some way. I'm still not as inherently interested as a corner, so
Gotcha.
I'll go with a straight 8 on that.
Mhm.
But there you go.